Supporters of Medicaid expansion in Missouri are taking their message directly to the state capitol. Missouri Healthcare for All. It's a group that's telling lawmakers they worry about thousands of children who have recently been removed from Medicaid programs. Opponents tell KRCG 13's Mark Slavitt expanding Medicaid would create higher taxes for Missourians.
Members of the Missouri Healthcare for All organization want to put a petition on the November ballot, allowing voters to decide on Medicaid expansion in Missouri. Supporters say it would bring more than $1 billion in federal tax money to Missouri every year to pay for the program.
We have over 200,000 Missourians that don't have health insurance coverage, that are going without insurance, and we really would like to see them be able to get the health care that they need to support themselves and support their families.
House Budget Committee Vice Chairman and Republican Representative from Versailles, David Wood, says thousands of children removed from Missouri's Medicaid rolls were likely still eligible for coverage. Wood says state leaders are working to simplify Medicaid applications that are too confusing for parents.
They should have or could have turned around and reapplied for their children alone. We don't know how many of those actually made that reapplication. The children probably still qualify even though the parents did no longer.
Opponents of Medicaid expansion say Missouri taxpayers will cover the cost of programs after the reduction or elimination of federal payments.
Unless people want taxes to go up, because that's the other alternative, and most Missourians have said no, they don't want their taxes to go up.
We will be able to move from that 60-40 match to a 90-10 to draw down more federal dollars to support the program.
Members of Kansas City's Chamber of Commerce, Civic Council, and United Way all say Medicaid expansion would provide health coverage to more than 230,000 Missourians who work in jobs that don't offer health insurance. Supporters have until early May to submit 172,000 signatures to put the issue on the November ballot. Petition organizers have about 3/4 of those signatures. Governor Mike Parson says if voters approve the ballot issue, state officials will expand Medicaid in Missouri. Reporting at the state capitol, Mark Slavitt, KRCG 13.
Tomorrow is the deadline to register to vote in Missouri's presidential preference primary on March 10th.
KRCG 13's Gracie Matisse is live at the Capitol with more information on how you can register. Gracie?
Good morning. Voters can register to vote online or in person. That website is the Secretary of State's website. The Boone and Cole County clerk's offices will be open tomorrow, even though it is a federal holiday, Lincoln's birthday. However, voters in Callaway County will need to register by the end of the day today because that office will be closed tomorrow. Now, Boone County Clerk Brianna Lennon says she's in the process of hiring poll workers to help during this busy election year. She says based on the numbers so far, turnout could be very high.
We're pretty on par with what we saw in 2016, and that ended up being almost 60% turnout. So I'm hopeful. We've seen a lot of interested voter registration drives and things like that, which usually indicates that people are going to be turning out.
Missouri has what is known as an open primary, which means that voters can take a ballot from either party and cast their vote there. However, it doesn't mean that voters have to affiliate with any party when they register to vote. Live at the Capitol, Gracie Matisse, KRCG 13.
It's been nearly 3 months since an inmate at the Cole County Jail was taken to the hospital after suffering a gunshot wound inside the holding area. There are now some developments. KRCG 13's Kyron Lee spoke with the sheriff and prosecutor today. She joins us in the studio with the details.
Yes, Cole County Sheriff John Wheeler says the inmate who was shot, identified as inmate Brandon McNeese, sustained non-life-threatening injuries during the incident in November. At the time of the shooting, Wheeler said no law enforcement officials were involved, as officials in the jail are prohibited from carrying weapons inside the facility. And within a day of the incident, Wheeler said through investigation, law enforcement determined the injury McNeese suffered was self-inflicted. Wheeler said his office submitted charges to the Cole County prosecutor on McNeese for unlawful use of a weapon and felon in possession of a firearm. So here's where we're at now. Since the night of the shots fired incident on November 25th, Sheriff John Wheeler and his office have been the lead investigators on the case. The ATF, U.S. Marshals Service, and the Highway Patrol are also involved in the investigation. However, the Highway Patrol indicated that Sheriff Wheeler is the lead investigator. On Tuesday, I spoke with Sheriff Wheeler, who says the case is still under investigation.
There's a lot to that. That's a big investigation, so you have to talk to everyone that was involved, the inmates, all that kind of stuff, and then run down. And, of course, inmates get moved, so now you have to go to different locations to get to talk to people. So it's a very entailing investigation.
As of Tuesday, there hadn't been any charges filed against Brandon McNeese at the state level, although Wheeler says he brought forth charges to the prosecutor on November 26th.
You'd have to speak with the prosecutor on why they have not charged. And I'm going to assume that it's probably going to go federal, but you'd probably have to get a hold of the prosecutor and ask him.
So that's what I did.
At this point, it's still being determined whether or not the charges will be filed at the state or federal level.
Prosecutor Locke Thompson says he expects charges to be filed against Brandon McNeese soon. However, he says who brought the gun into the jail is still very much so under investigation, and he can't release any details at this time. Thompson says there have been some delays during this process, and the U.S. attorney is also overseeing the case. And I left a message with McNeese's lawyer for comment. However, I have not yet heard back. And in light of the November jail shots fired incident, Wheeler says the sheriff's department completed Operation Clean Sweep of the Cole County Jail on Saturday, which utilized their new body scanner. Wheeler says it will be used for everyone who enters and leaves the jail.